All right, y'all. We're back. Hi, Timothy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great.
So we're going to do a talk through like we've been doing. New brand for us. Camiel Fortgens.
Yeah, I mean, a Netherlands-based company in designer. I think that like really what you're going to find throughout us going through this that's really interesting about the brand is, and I like the way that they put it, it's like, think of it as a draft table. Like the designs sort of begin and end at the draft table. So it's meant to be a little messier, a little less perfect, you know, more of the wabi-sabi type of thing.
I was
like
say.
There's just there's this like really intentional but kind of like organically undone version, like, you know, a final product here. And I really like the way it is because it's simple stuff done without all the finishing and all the obsessing over tiny things and more just focusing on fit, silhouette, fabric. And then like it creates its own vibe because of this kind of like imperfect look that it takes. It really reminds me of early Comme des Garçons, maybe even Jill Sander. This really interesting like high fashion things but meant to be like really everyday items. So they're taking like, you know, just little details and twisting them on classic pieces. So let's start looking at it. Where do you want to begin here?
Let's just start with what we got here. We'll kind of end with the hats, do footwear or pants after.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So this is, I think you and I would both agree, this is our favorite piece from
this is I really love this piece. So it's kind of like
short
a
matte coat.
Cropped
matte coat.
Yeah, I mean, and like when you really take a look at the details here, I mean, there's a simpleness to the piece at first glance, but you also see the pocket bag is peeking out a little bit, which creates its own look. The oversized pocket finishing here, the really long drawstrings, and it's like it's very thin and easy. There's a rawness. This is going to kind of come in almost all the pieces. When they finish them, they don't clip out all the pieces. They're not focused on getting all of the stitching perfect. It's really like you'll see like you know a little wobbliness in the stitching, and then you like leave all the finishing and. Look, if it drives you nuts and you want to clip it. But if you don't, I mean, it creates this really organic, like fun look. I think. Yeah. So next piece is kind of similar to the first one without the collar, a little bit more finished, almost like an officer
work jacket.
You see, it's got the the elbow patches there. Everything else about it's simple. I mean, I love this. You can put instead of like installing this, which you would normally have to do with changing all the presser foots, all these things, just leaving it out on the open. It'll work the same way. You get a more interesting finish. Again, it's just this really like natural. It feels like an idea happened and then it was turned into clothes very quickly. You know what I mean? And I think that's what feels like. There's like an urgency to it that I think is really interesting while still kind of like remaining kind of quiet and still at the same time.
It's kind of like gestural drawing, you know what I mean? Like drawing a still life when it's just that first pass. That's usually like my favorite part of it, and I wish that you could just leave it at that, and that's kind of what they're doing with the clothes. Yeah,
and here we go into the cut and sew here. I mean, this is kind of a lot of people have come to Camille through this piece. It's this really like interesting cut. I mean, what I really love about it is the fact that the back is a little longer than the front, which normally is the opposite of the like more popular way to cut these right now. It's big, it's loose. I really love the uneven stitching that you see through like right by the zipper there. So you get this like as you wear it too, it'll pucker and get more interesting too, which I just think it's gonna look so cool. It is one of those pieces that I love where kind of one of my favorite things in clothing where you don't see it right away. On this piece, you see it as you look and you further investigate. You're like, oh, the hood stitching is kind of uneven and puckering in interesting spots. The back is like almost creating like little pleats on the on the hem.
Yeah, they kind of darted it almost.
There's an unevenness to the pocket bags. Like just there's so much going on, but none of it screams at you. So it really is something that like the more you live with it, the more you love it, the more people notice it, the more you talk about it, the more things you notice. So here's like their take on a track jacket. I really love the fit on this. Definitely like take a look at what the product photos and everything because you're really gonna see the way it lays and the way it crops is really interesting. Everything here is like on the out seam. It's all just been sewn down. Not normally you'd like turn it inside out and then start all the finishing. They just left it as is because, quite frankly, that does make things go a lot quicker. It's almost like it almost feels like it's like a pattern option. Like they're just sewing this down so that you can get the pattern.
And then being like, no, it's cool as is. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, it just takes this like really simple piece and just like I mean, right back here on you can really see on the back that there's been
crisscrosses.
It's double stitched, but they've crisscrossed.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah. Like you said, it'd be like if you made a prototype with muslin.
Sure.
But you just made it with the material you're going to end with and then just rock it.
Yeah. So like I said, for me, it really creates this like urgency to the pieces that I think is that is really nice. And you don't see it in fashion too much anymore because there's a lot of obsession over all the details and everything. And obviously we love that too. But this is just a new option. It's just a new take on something. So here's kind of like a classic like 60s style
bowling polo. I think.
Yeah, lawn shirt, something like that. I really like this one. I think it's simple. The fabric. I mean, I know you're not going to be able to tell, but it's a little thicker, and it's like, but it really lays nicely. Like it has a nice drape to it. I love the way that they did the sleeves on this. It's just like adding a point of interest that's like fun and unique, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, but
Still
it's also
super
like
wearable.
fully classic. You know what I mean? It really does feel intentional too when you see it in person. It doesn't feel like this is just a half-finished thing. I really like the way the placket was finished too, just on the outside there.
Yep. And like the collar here is finished in like a more traditional way, but then the sleeves, they just folded it up and sewed it.
Yeah, it's
outside,
great. So kind of like a similar thing, like kind of drawing off that like inspiration of the 60s. This is kind of like a longer shirt meant to peek out of underneath jackets. Could be worn on its own. It's it's kind of like a poplin, I would say. It really comfortable, nice drape, has a really smooth finish to it. And you get all those details like we've been talking about. I think this is a really fun like summer shirt. I really like the almost like darting throughout the front with the seams. I mean, it's really, it's really
love
interesting.
It fits crazy.
It lays great on the body too.
These you're really stoked on.
I really love this. This is another one where you're just seeing like something super simple that's just enough flip, because everyone's seen like a sweater with the out seams. That's a common thing that's been going on. Prada was famous for doing it for a long time, but it's really that like unevenness and the goofiness of the V-neck. It just adds this like subtle point to where, if someone's talking to you about your clothes, it's just they're gonna linger for a minute and go, wait a minute, there's something interesting going on.
Yeah, there's a situation here for sure.
Yeah, I really love this piece. It feels like anybody could wear it, and it still feels very fashion at the same time. The fit is great.
Low armholes, kind of, or rather very wide.
Yeah, I really think that the unevenness on the side panels here are really nice too, because it adds this kind of, again, if you imagine it poking out of a jacket or something a little bit, it just gives you that little touch point that I think makes it more interesting. And there we go. This is a really cool. I mean, this is another one when you see it on body, it really like comes to life.
Yep.
So all the hems are raw, pocket bags to waistbands to everything.
It's
all
hem
raw.
itself,
That's going to only kind of like, it's going to sort of finish itself as you wear it, you know what I mean? So it'll kind of like come loose and
kind of fray a little bit up to the stitch. Yep.
This is their take on just like a classic pair of jeans extensively.
Yep.
And this great orange color that like kind of surprisingly goes with everything. But if you're asking me how I'd wear it, like you put a pair of Birkenstocks and a white t-shirt, let these do the talking.
Just let that be the thing.
This is
absolutely.
the move. I mean, I think it's super easy to wear. It's baggy without being like baggy, because there's a smidge of taper, but you got a lot of room up top, so it's going to be super comfortable.
I mean, if you're familiar with like an Orslo New Yorker.
Yeah.
Similar,
probably a little bit more dramatic, obviously, but definitely very similar.
Yep.
Okay, and then here's another really interesting one. This is a
incredibly
really cool,
lightweight.
Yeah, very lightweight. Fabric is great. Feels very vintage. I love that they've let all the elastic banding sort of hang out at the top.
Yep.
I mean, if you imagine this like with a little crop jacket, tucked in t-shirt, letting that like show a little bit, I really think it adds like a cool, like, it's just a cool point of interest with these pieces that like they don't need to do it, but the addition of it really like makes it feel like Camiel Fortgens, which is really cool.
Yep.
Love that pant. This is another one that I saw someone put on the other day, and I was like, wow, the fit is really great on body. Really flattering, kind of no matter your shape too. So this is a little bit more of like a sophisticated like cut, or meant to be almost like a take on a dress pant, but then finished almost like with this like outdoorsy element with the little toggles and everything.
Yeah. It's little piping on the pocket situation.
Yeah, and it's meant to be like cinched. So like that's the point. They're gonna fit a little big at first. That's on the waist. That is the point. They're meant to be kind of like scrunched up, so you see that finishing, and then you're gonna get the piping on the pockets there, and so that's what makes it feel like this kind of vintage, very formal, kind of interesting look. It's a pretty straight leg, so you get that nice look. But I saw someone trying them on the other day in the store, and I was like surprised at how like sleek they looked.
Yeah.
So really clean look too.
I'm excited to see how this styled out.
Okay, here we go with these and these. Again, the outside zip really makes these interesting. Just adds, I love the elongated drawstring there with the big loop.
Plenty of rise here too.
Again, still that same deal. A little bit of taper at the bottom, so you really see, like, it really like kind of finishes out really nicely.
Should stack nicely on the
shoe.
Yeah.
I really like these. I think there's like almost like a gorpy element to them, but at the same time, like you can style these super simple. And again, just let this do the talking. So I think we got one more. This is actually the partner to show that color. That's the partner.
Brown
really
one.
nice kind of mousy brown.
Yeah,
I love a mousy brown like this, because you can do it with black easy. You can do it with navy. You can do it with whatever you want.
Whatever,
Looks good with everything. And then this is just the partner to the waistband pant in the navy.
Yep.
All right. So to kind of finish this off, we're going to show you these hats that are really cool.
Yeah. So here, I'm going to set this down.
The unstructured bill is really great. There is no bill inside of it. It is just fabric and then finished so that it will stay and it will kind of like form over time. But the point is to have that kind of like slightly unfinished look with the elastic band that's been sewn in, so it's not adjustable. But the way it's really meant to sit more on the top of the head, kind of almost like a biker's hat or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But what I like is that these are just like super simple, super easy to wear, matches with everything in the collection, but still feels like almost like your classic like Yankees hat or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Agreed.
So just like an easy take on that, just doing their thing. So you get all the puckering on the bill and you get all the points of interest. I love that the overlapping, they don't even stitch down the overlap on the middle. I know I'm harping on it, but the fact that you take something instead of going like really broad with all the crazy unfinished pieces and, you know, make that be the entire point. I think this is really more like these are meant to be classic pieces, and the fact that they were just done like sort of quickly and designed on the draft table, like they say, it really shows.
No, it shows through. It shows through
without being like unwearable. I think.
Yeah.
Like anybody could really wear this, even though it might feel a little dramatic to some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. I'm
lean
excited
into
to
it.
like. I'd love to buy a piece. I want to work it into my wardrobe. I think like it really fits inside of anyone's style. If you're super into streetwear, high fashion, or something like that, it totally works on that level. If you're not that and you're just looking to add like, you know, like
a little flavor,
a funky little sweater underneath the standard blazer, it really like will make the blazer pop even better, and it just adds a little, like I said, it keeps saying point.
Fellow in the Discord was wearing this hoodie. You could tell from a mile away. I was like, oh, there's something to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shout out Camille. We're really excited to be carrying the collection and continue with them, and I hope you guys like it. And we will have styled images up soon. Yeah. Because we're really excited to kind of put this all together for you. Other than that, you can check it out on the website now and
shopcanoeclub.com. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Listen to our podcast, customer service. It's Timothy and I.
If you want extra discounts, you want extra stuff, extra podcasts,
early
extra
access to everything. Yeah. Drops.
And yeah, other than that, thanks for listening, and
thanks for being here
again, and we'll see you around.
Bye.